Hey, it's Bill Gross, and I'm always looking to meet and network and bring to you new people who can help you make more money and build more wealth. Really excited to meet somebody I've been networking with the last couple of months at our Brew Real Estate events. Uh, Janae Wise. Janae, what's up?
What's up, Bill? I'm here. I'm excited to be here. And yeah, thank you, man, for giving me this opportunity.
I think what's unique about her is she both has a product that helps us build our wealth and income. And then for those who are looking for career changes, also has an opportunity to help people who also want to spread that word to other people and use that to make their income and their wealth as well. So, Jane, just a little bit before we get started, where are you from originally? And how did you get into the financial services business?
That's a great question. Yeah, so I'm actually from Los Angeles, from South Central. I was born and raised here. Um,
Homegrown.
Homegrown, yes, LA native, as my LA natives like to call it. But yeah, man, I just kind of grew up seeing my mom struggle, my family struggle, see a lot of people around me kind of in similar situations. So I decided, you know what? Let me be the person that's going to change. I was the first generation college graduate in my family. I went
Wow.
to school, got a business degree,
Wow.
got out of school. I said, you know what, I'm gonna just jump into the workforce. He was out there for me. Went into like some management programs, and then from there, I said, you know what, the only thing that's really gonna get me to financial freedom is if I start my own business. And then I found the insurance industry, and I'm so grateful to have learned about this industry because one, like you said, it is a vehicle to be able to generate wealth, build wealth. But also it's the number one industry that actually builds millionaires. So I just feel so acquainted in this place, and I've been enjoying educating people so far.
And you happen to be working for an amazing, amazing network, an amazing entrepreneur. One of my heroes, one of my favorite YouTube channels, Patrick Bet David, phenomenal guy. And I know that a couple of weeks ago you were at his convention. I saw interviews leading up to it, and I saw some there leading up to his convention at the MGM Grand where he had 15,000 people there. What was that like?
Yes, that was amazing. That was actually my first annual convention. We have one every year. Patrick Bet David, man, he's just amazing. And it's so true that you grow based on your environment, right? The people that you're around, the meetings you attend. So just being there in the presence was, I can't even describe it to you. Um, but also just being a part of his agency and being able to get coached directly from people that he has coached directly
Right.
for the past 16 years, and being able to see how much influence he's had over their lives and now how they're actually building leaders. And so it's truly amazing. And it's so crazy to think about. Patrick actually has a conference called The Vault. I don't know, have you heard of The Vault?
No.
Oh, really? Okay. So he does this conference called The Vault. It's open to the public. And it's people pay anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000 just to be in his presence and learn from him. And we have the same opportunity that we get just by being a part of his company that we don't need to pay for, and we just need to qualify for his time. And so it's just been truly amazing, and that event was very inspiring, I would say.
Saw the interview he did with Shaq O'Neal at the event. That was mind blowing. It was just,
Mhm.
he's such a good interviewer. He brings such an interesting personal perspective to talk to a variety of people. And he's just an amazing guy. So let's talk about you. You used a phrase early in our conversation, financial freedom. I think a lot of people use that phrase, don't know what it means. What's that mean to you, financial freedom?
To me, financial freedom means independence, right? And it really means having the opportunity to earn money without trading my time for it. So, when people think about money, most people think about, well, I need to get a job, right? And when we get a job, we're an employee, we're going to work, we're trading our time for money. But when you are able to find a way to start a business where now you're actually investing in something where other people can have opportunities to work, right? And now you're taking yourself out of the equation and you're able to have more freedom to do the things that you want to do, spend more time with your family or travel or what have you. And then the same thing with being an investor, right? Now you have your money working for you as little soldiers, right? Going to accumulate more value. So for me, financial freedom means um, so much for my family personally, because no one has gotten a chance to experience that. And no one has really had the knowledge to know how to get there. And so, um, like I said, learning and growing in this industry is definitely teaching me. And I just love having the opportunity to share the knowledge with other people.
So when's the date that you're going to be financially free?
That's such a good question.
Give you a
I,
smile.
I'm giving myself a good 10-year run to just go all in, to serve as many people as I can, to
Mm,
spread the word. And when I think about my upbringing, I was raised by a single mom, right? And my mom didn't really have the knowledge that she needed in order to kind of break away from this cycle.
right.
um, so I just think about all the other mothers and families that are out there that could use this knowledge. Most people just think about life insurance in the sense of, oh, I can use this money when somebody passes away, right? I can use this money for a funeral. But they don't know the living benefits that you have with life insurance. You're able to really um, not only build wealth for future generations, but also use the money now while you're alive to help you to build that wealth in other aspects, right? You're able to loan from your policy and now take more educated risk, like using that money to buy a property or make other investments. And yeah, so there's so much that goes into it that people don't really realize. And it's one of the ways that I'm definitely building wealth for myself as well.
I think one of the key things you also touched on is, and I know Patrick, but David is involved with, is education, because our schools have done such a poor job, really no job at all, of
Mhm,
educating us on how to manage our finances, build wealth, and to get financial freedom, which is achievable for everybody, right?
mhm,
It's just you have to have a goal, and then you have to get to that point, and then from there you build. Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad is the basic formula, the cash flow game, the basic formula. You want enough residual and passive income coming in to live on, so that your current income goes to building the nest egg that drives that income, and
mhm,
continues to go from there. And I got there. It was a lot of hard work. I didn't even know I was getting there, and I didn't know I had to get there for the longest time, because as smart as I was, the rules weren't laid out for me. And I think it's so exciting that you work for a company that's so committed to education and
mhm.
helping your customers learn about these tools, these powerful tools that can be used for good or for bad. So let's talk a little bit about, what does the day in the life of Jana Wise look like as you go out and do business development? What does that look like for you to get new business?
That's a great question. So for me, that looks like connecting with business owners to educate them on how they can use this powerful tool to, secure their money. Reaching out to companies. I do tabling at places like, the Los Angeles County for the employees, educating them on how they can use life insurance to protect their family, their income, their health, all that. And then also just going out to community events, putting my face out there, um, going to things like the Small Business Expo or even your events, the real
Thank you.
estate expo. Yeah, so it's just really putting myself out there, marketing and social media. So a lot of my
Nice.
days is on the phone or just like out and about, in person, meeting people.
So how many people you talk to on the phone in a week?
About 200 on average.
Contacts a week.
Yes.
I want everybody to hear, you told me that live, and I knew the answer when I asked it, but I want everybody to hear that number.
Mhm,
That's what it takes to build a business from scratch or starting out, that kind of
mhm,
effort. Now, I want to say I talk to 200 people a week today, there's a little bit of difference. I talk to more people who want to talk to me, and I also have a little more following that I can talk to a lot more people on the live stream. But at some point, the more people you talk to, the more money you make, the more impact you create in the world, right? So I was just
Yes.
really proud when you told me that, and you said it with such pride, because I was grilling you a little bit on your process and your system. I know, I think it's called People Helping People. Is that what the organization is called?
Yes.
PHP? I
Yeah.
know they don't play. Like there's a system and you're supposed to work it, and they'll help you
Mhm.
get there. And if you don't want to work it, they'll help you find something else to do.
Right.
But you're working. I'm really proud of you. And I just want to say to anybody, it's achievable. How long did it take you to get up to 200 people in a week? That's kind of like, lifting weights. At some point, it must have been hard to get started. No.
I would have to definitely attribute that to my previous work. I actually was in car sales before this industry. And I
Ah,
was also a recruiter. So I already was building the muscle of making the phone calls, right? Hitting the phones. And that was most of my day. I had to make at least 50 contacts a day in the car world, setting up appointments and then now having to sell, right? So
right.
I already had that experience just in a different industry. And then I found something that I could really connect to and that I feel more passionate about. So I've already had that, been building that muscle of, just sales and recruiting all together.
As a manager, I was doing recruiting. I would make 40 contacts a day before noon, with a
Mhm.
goal of setting 2 appointments every day, of which of the two, one would show up and one would no show. And it was just a routine that I did, and I would keep my numbers on a piece of paper, and I would pile them up at the end of the year. I had a stack of 250 papers, how many work days there are, with the numbers on it, and I had a spreadsheet, I put all the numbers in. But it is a muscle once you get the thing going, and it's kind of hard to stop. It's like a train going downhill. At some point, you're generating results, and so it's an important thing to do. But I think also behind each contact as a person, you're actually reaching out to people and attempting to offer them help to achieve financial goals. So let's talk a little bit about the individual one-on-one. What's it like when you meet with somebody, you get a chance to talk about their finances in depth? What's that process like for you?
For me, I always like to start off first getting to know the person because a lot of our mindset on money comes from, our childhood or our backgrounds. And we really have to assess, okay, what is your money blueprint? When you think about money, do you have like a scarcity mindset to where you feel like you need to hold on to every dollar? Or are you more of a risk taker? And what is your goal? What is the outcome that you're looking for? Do you want to build wealth? Are you looking to send your kids to college or buy a house or pass on generational wealth? What is your goal? Are you just looking for insurance? So I sit down with them and really assess their financial need and their mindset. And then we go from there and say, okay, how much can you really afford to accomplish the goal you're looking for? Right. So how much money can you set aside without taking meals off the table? Right. And then
Answer is more than you think, right? Because people,
you
where are you spending your
think.
money is the next question.
Exactly. Starbucks,
Former
going,
Starbucks addict.
yes.
And when COVID hit, my wife and I said, we're going to wipe everything clean. What do we
Mhm.
actually have to have? And instead of spending 3, $4 a day, I'm just a plain coffee guy, but still $4 a day adds up. I buy coffee at Trader Joe's every week, and it costs a lot less to make it at home, right? And that
Exactly.
money is in our savings account. Difference.
Mhm.
So you talk
Yeah.
to people about finances? Do you talk about goals and get them on track? Like that's a tough
Yeah.
sell to get people to tighten the belt, right?
It's not as tough when you're able to really penetrate what their pain points are,
Nice,
because then they'll recognize on their own. When
nice.
you really sit down and ask somebody questions, where is your money really going and what are your priorities? Because if you have a priority, but your actions don't match up to it, then maybe it's not that important to you.
Right.
But if it is, then you've got to make some real changes to accomplish what you want. So in certain cases, it can be a little bit more tough to get people to be honest with themselves.
Hmm.
But for the people that are, and they're like, you know what, I don't need to spend $19 a month for unlimited Netflix or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
we got rid of that. We don't have that. It's amazing. You can live without Netflix. It can be done.
Yes, you can. And
And
when
I
you
made a lot of money the last couple of years, but we never went back to adding Netflix because we just got used to not needing it. Like there's other life to live besides Netflix. It's, I mean, people say, "Oh, you got to watch this program." Why? Why do I have to watch it? I don't really want. It's not even the money. Is I don't want to live. I was like addicted to all these little things that we got rid of.
and we realize that we spend more of our time doing the opposite, right? So somebody will say, well, I want to be financially free. I want to be an entrepreneur. I don't want to work anymore. Well, what are you really spending your time doing?
Ooh.
Do you go home and watch TV, your favorite show after work for 4 hours? On the weekends, what are you doing with your time? What is your time going to? And that'll tell you what you really want or what you value. And when people are able to assess that and say, okay, let me make a change because what I'm doing is not matching up. So,
Right.
are you reading? Are you actually expanding your mind? And that's one of the reasons why I like PHP because we have a book of the month. Every month, the whole company reads the same book. So, we're all on the same page with,
Wow.
expanding our minds. Are you actually getting the education that you need to master the craft that, you say that you want? So, it's it's really a journey of self-development no matter what industry you're in, just really becoming consistent um and determined to get there because it's not going to be easy. It's not.
So I had an experience when I was running a real estate company, a real estate agent who left, and I talked to him, and he said, "Well, I just couldn't afford the MLS dues." And the MLS dues, can be maybe $78 a month. It's part of the business if you're professional. I said, really interesting, and he had made good money, and he kind of couple down months. And so as I called him, and I said, in the background, I hear some noise. What is that? Oh, it's my kids watching TV. Oh, interesting. Um, do you have cable TV? He said, yeah. I said, I'm just curious, what's your cable TV bill a month? Well, with this and that, it's like $150 a month. And I said, so you couldn't afford your MLS dues that was creating income for your family and wealth, but you can afford TV that your kids are watching. That's the choice you're making? And he never, I never really thought of it that way. I said, well, you're out of the business. This is why. And I was trying to help them understand the opportunities, but people miss that. So let's talk. We talked a little bit about the product and making wealth that way and saving money. Let's talk a little bit about the business opportunity for somebody who's looking for an opportunity to make income. Meaning it's one thing to have some excess money to invest it, which we all need to do and build wealth. But what's your day to day look like? What's your 9 to 5? As a business person, I run a business in real estate brokerage, and I sell houses. I make really good money. And I love what I do. Everybody should love what they do. Everybody should find a way to make the money they need to. You've done that through PHP. Tell me a little bit about the business opportunity for somebody who's maybe stuck in a job, they're not making much money, or maybe they're in between jobs, they need something to do. Tell me about that business opportunity of being with PHP. What's that look like?
Yeah. So the opportunity, let me say this first. So one of the reasons why I got into the insurance industry specifically is when I looked at just the stats, there's about 336 million people, right, in the US. We only have about 105,000 insurance agents, life
Hmm.
insurance agents. So the opportunity is big. We have way more people out there to serve than people to serve them. So we actually need more life insurance agents out there. So there's a big need for what we do. Now, second, um, you're able to get licensed, right? You actually need a license with the state in order to do this work. And once you get licensed, I mean, man, you get your software that you need. Like you're saying, you have to actually invest in your business.
Mm-hmm.
um, and from there, you just make it what you want it to be. So some people do this part-time, some people take it to the next level and, they're in full-time sales. They focus on selling insurance, and then other people really want to build an agency. And that's one of the things that I like about PHP is that we're able to brand ourselves outside of PHP and really kind of build our own um, culture. You can open your own office, and really make it your own. So that's what I like. We are connected to some of the top insurance companies, AIG, National Life Group, Mutual of Omaha, just to name a few. We work directly with over 20 different insurance companies. So we're really able to serve our clients in the best way that we can. And yeah, the opportunities to earn money is endless, and the opportunity to serve people is also endless. And on top of life insurance, we also do debt consolidation, 401k rollovers, annuities, and health and long-term care insurance.
I think I may have mentioned to you when I left management in real estate about 3.5, maybe almost 4 years ago. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I knew I didn't want to work for the company I'd worked for previously and didn't want to go back into the role of management. And I looked into real estate production as an option, and I started working on that. But I put a couple other feelers out, a couple other businesses I launched, and a couple of them to this day I still get income on as side businesses. One of them was insurance. I talked to a big company, not PHP, but similar. And what I loved about it was they had a structured system of success that if you just worked that plan, you would get results. It was somewhat predictable. As long as you put the effort in, the results would become predictable. And again, coming from being a cold caller or a phone person, it made sense to me. And so I launched at the same time my real estate and insurance. And I was setting a bunch of appointments for them. The way I set up was I'll set the appointments for you. Let's see what comes from that. At the same time, I'm going to work on my real estate sales. I did half and half. And it just so happened I landed a really big real estate sales contract before the insurance just little small pieces started building up. I look back and say, I easily could have gone the other way. Maybe if I'd been with PHP or Patrick Bet-David, I would have been, in insurance rather than real estate. It was that close. And then my best friend's recently going through a change as well, called to tell me that he's joining a big insurance company group, and he just got his license and he's starting to work on that. So I know the opportunity is great, and I know that if it's something you're going to, like anything else, you're going to put the work in and pay the price, there's unlimited potential. So, Janae, if somebody wanted to reach out to you and talk to you either about insurance as a product for their finances or a product for their financial wealth or the business opportunity, how would they get a hold of you?
That is a great question. You can reach out to me on social media. I'm on Instagram. My Instagram is Generous Janae. You can also email me. That's wisejana@gmail.com. And then also you can give me a call. I'm open to taking phone calls, text messages, and my number is 323-548-6907.
Great. I'll put all that in the description as well. Yeah, for us older people, I appreciate the phone call so we can either call you or those more advanced older people, like maybe we can text you. So I appreciate that. So great. Look, I follow you now on Instagram. I appreciate you making time with us. I love seeing you at our event. And I really want to make sure that we host it every first Thursday of the month. It'll be the first Thursday in October. I might as well present the date. Let's see. That's going to be the 6th of October. We host Brew Real Estate. Anybody interested in real estate investing? And Janae's a regular. And if you mentioned that you saw this call, I will buy you a free beer if you're there. So limit to the first 50 people. So Jane, hope to see you on October 6th. I know we'll be touching base before then. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Bill. And I'm looking forward to seeing you and some new faces at the event. So I will see you all there.